I'm Scott. I design, build, and repair woodworking pieces. I'm opening up the doors to my shop to help you become a better woodworker. I want to give you the big picture for this next project. This is a renovation where we've stripped the popcorn ceiling, we've installed pot lights, and built a brand new fireplace mantle. Now, the windows, the seals have gone, and there's a lot of division in the glass, which is preventing light from coming in the house. So I'm going to replace the windows, but this project I want to focus on trimming out those windows and really focus on building in a windowsill. This is a room that doesn't have windowsills, and I think with the detail on the fireplace that's now been introduced, the windowsills will be the right detail to balance out the room. The key step in making sure you can put in a windowsill is checking for the spacing. I've already loosened off this trim and looked underneath. I've got enough room in the framing here to add a thicker sill. This is about 3/4 of an inch. I'm adding a board that is 1.25 inches, so I've got space here to do that. So now I'm going to go to the lumberyard and buy a 5/4, which is 1.25 inches for the windowsills and 3/4 inch for the sides. And by the time I replace the windows, I'll be ready to go with the trim. I've installed the new windows and insulated them. I've cut back the spray foam, and now I'm ready to fit this sill. So I've got it marked out here. What I'm doing is just cutting this back here so that I can create a horn. And I've taken the depth here and made it a little bit shallower so that I can get this board in here and then I can scribe it to fit. Put the sill in and shimmed it up so I've got an even 1/4 inch space at the back. Now I just need to set my dividers and then scribe the line. The next step is to make sure that this window jamb is in the right spot. So what I've done is I've measured 3/16 all the way around, and then I've marked it here. So what I'm going to do now is install the jamb extensions, and that will give me the dimension from here past the trim to be able to figure out how long the horn needs to be. And I'll cut that off. Now that I have the jamb extension in, it gives me a fixed point that I can now measure the length of the horn. I've got from this edge here 3 3/4 inches, so that's 1, 2, 3 3/4 inches. So I'm going to cut the horn off here, and I also want to change the depth of this. I'm going to bring it out about 6.5 inches, so I'm also going to shorten this up here. So I've got a good fit. I've got the horns trimmed to what they need to be, and I've got the right depth. So the last piece is to work on the dimensions here, and what I'm looking for is a slight curve on top with a bit of an OG underneath. So I'm going to go in the shop now that I'm happy with this and shape the edge. I reached out to some woodworking friends on Instagram. I was looking at these 3 different profiles and trying to figure out what looked best. It turns out the overwhelming response was B, so that's what I went with. With the round over now on the windowsill, the profile looks like this, but I need to get it to look like this. So to put a cove on that, I turn the board this way and run it through the table saw. This should not be done by anyone who has not been trained on this. This is a very dangerous operation. This is the profile off the saw. Now it just takes a bunch of elbow grease to round that profile. I've primed all the pieces and put them together. I've got the windowsill here, the window jamb extension here, and I've just installed these by putting screws through the windowsill into the jamb extension. Now I have to put the trim on and put an apron on. I'm going to design that in the workshop, so I'll show you that next. Now that I've cut the angles on all the apron pieces, here what I'm going to do is glue them together. So this gives me a nice profile on the edge of that apron instead of just having something like this, which is square. When gluing up small miters like this, I like to use an existing box. That just helps me clamp these pieces together and then get a nice tight miter. When I'm done here, what I'm going to do is trim this off, so this leaves me with a nice apron and a clean edge. Now that the back's been trimmed flush, you can see what the profile looks like with every turn on it. It's not looking the way I expected. It's a lot more ornate than what I'm looking for. So what I've decided to do is cut it off right here. Now that's much better. If you're interested in taking on a job like this, here are the keys to success. Scribe the windowsill horns to the wall for an accurate fit. Experiment when creating with new edge profiles to find out what's going to work best for you. Adding returns to the end of an apron can increase the quality of the job. And use a box as a jig to glue up miters with small parts. If you enjoyed watching this today, please subscribe. The more subscribers we get, the more we're encouraged to produce. So share it with your family and friends. Thanks for watching, and thank you for your support.